The Portland soccer teams earn state bragging rights. A former Pilot makes it to the big leagues, and we'll sit down with one of the top volleyball players in the WCC to talk about the program's rise. Portside of the Pilot starts right now. Welcome to another edition of Portside with the Pilots. I'm your host, Adam Lindman. The fall sports season is going full steam ahead, but the Pilot baseball team is also staying busy as they began fall ball last week. Head coach Jeff Loomis enters his third season on the Bluff after a Hall of Fame career with the Pilots as a player in the early 90s. Loomis and his staff have brought in a nationally ranked recruiting class expected to make immediate contributions this spring. With an experienced pitching staff that returns top 5 starters from last season, the return of 9 position players that started 20 or more games, and the infusion of new talent, the Pilots are poised for a breakout 2018.
I'm super excited to be here. I think we have a chance this year to do something that the Pilots haven't done in a long time, and it's great to be out and finally get rolling. It's been 2 weeks of individuals, and then now with everything starting to roll with fall, we're in a good spot and hoping to really make a push to do something this season. We want to make the small adjustments to get better that are going to make us better in the bigger picture. So that's what we want to get out of fall.
Loomis announced the addition of pitching coach Connor Lambert to his staff during the offseason. Lambert, who pitched at Washington State, was recently on the staff at the University of Utah, and he spent the last 7 seasons as the associate head coach and pitching coach for the Corvallis Knights before joining the Pilots.
I think UP is a great fit for me, being from the Northwest, but also the personalities that we have on the staff. And what I can bring to the program is kind of adding to that culture that Jeff Loomis has already started and bringing some of the leadership aspects. Kevin Baker, Corbin Powers, some guys that have been here for a while. It's a really exciting opportunity. Kevin's got a chance to get himself drafted this year. Corbin's been here, this is his 5th year. A guy that really knows his way around, knows how to pitch. I think guys are really working towards being better than we were last year.
And the baseball team continues to excel in the classroom as it was recently announced the Pilots earned the ABCA Team Academic Excellence Award for the 2nd straight season. The award honors programs that achieve a 3.0 or better team GPA for the academic year.
It's something that we take very serious. We like to work really hard out here, but as a team we like to work even harder in the classroom, and so a lot of guys are putting in extra time out here, working hard in the field, and putting in even more time, extra time in the classroom.
The Pilot women's soccer team posted a thrilling win in the final minute of regulation over in-state rival Oregon State on Friday night, as seen right here on CSN. Freshman striker Taryn Reeves was taken down in the box in the 90th minute, and Casey Young buried the penalty kick to give the Pilots the 1-0 victory. Portland has allowed just 4 goals in the last 5 matches, while all 3 of the team's game winners this season have come in the final 10 minutes of regulation.
To show a young team coming back and gritting it out all the way to the end and getting that penalty kick when we needed it. Great performance from everybody who was on the field. And the attitude for us right now in this part of the season is just continue to learn with a young team and getting a little bit better and show a little bit of grit, and that's what we showed tonight, and I thought it was awesome.
Our team came out great. We needed to get on that winning streak, so props to the team. Great job by Taryn for getting that PK, and it's a hard-fought battle for sure.
Men's soccer made it a weekend sweep of the Beavers with a 1-0 win in Corvallis on Sunday night. Sophomore Ray Ortiz provided the second-half game winner as the Pilots dominated play. Portland outshot the Beavers by a 20-7 margin, while goalkeeper Paul Christensen earned his 3rd shutout of the season. The Pilots will continue non-conference play with a pair of matches in Southern California this weekend. Perennial men's soccer power UC Santa Barbara hosts Portland on Saturday night. The Pilots will then travel to Cal Poly for a Monday night matchup with the Mustangs. The Pilot volleyball team concluded non-conference play last weekend by hosting the Nike Invitational at the Chiles Center. Portland finished the weekend 2-1 to improve to 9-3 overall this season. After dropping the opening match to Portland State, the Pilots responded by sweeping UTEP on Friday and defeating Cal State Northridge by a 3-1 margin on Saturday.
When we're winning, we're playing with good energy. We're serving tough, we're passing well, and the offense is pretty distributed equally. Of course, our left sides are always going to get more swings. That's the case for any team, and that's what we need to be doing to win games.
One of the most decorated men's basketball players in Portland history has signed a pro contract. Alec Wintering was on pace to break multiple school career records before a torn ACL in early January cut his season short. His rehab work paid off as he inked a deal with Ribery of the Spanish LEB Gold Division. Wintering will be one of 10 former Pilot basketball players signed to play professionally overseas this season. Sticking with men's basketball, head coach Terry Porter and the Pilots announced their 2017-18 schedule earlier this week. In addition to the PK 80 tournament over Thanksgiving weekend, the Pilots will open the regular season by hosting Portland State on November 11th. Portland will play as many as 13 games against teams that competed in the postseason a year ago. They play 5 games in current or former NBA arenas, and 16 of the 31 games will be played at the friendly confines of the Chiles Center. Coming up next, we'll talk with Reagan Pukas, a junior outside hitter on the surging Pilot volleyball team. You're watching Portside with the Pilots on CSN. Welcome back to Portside of the Pilots. We're joined now by junior outside hitter Reagan Pukas. Reagan, thanks for joining us here tonight.
Thank you.
Before coming to Portland, you spent one season at UNLV. You had some transfer options. How did you choose Portland? Why did you choose Portland?
So I visited a bunch of schools after transferring, and I kind of had an idea of what I was looking for when I got on campus and met with Brent. I just felt like it was the perfect fit, and I really liked the philosophy and culture he was building here. And obviously it was a program on the rise, which I really liked and I wanted to be a part of.
Yeah, you mentioned a program on the rise. Your first 2 years here, it seems like the team is rewriting history. How exciting has that been to be part of it?
Obviously last season was awesome, and it was really cool to be a part of the BYU win and the San Diego win and just the change of volleyball culture around here. And this year it's been exciting because it seems like we kind of have the community behind us, which is great. And obviously we have a long way to go, but it's nice to see the program rising and how much progress we're making this year.
And talk about some of those keys that it's taken to get the success.
I think we have some key things that we preach in the gym, and we have our a team motto, I guess you could call it, and it's TAG, which is trust, accountability, and growth. And I think those are things that we all really buy into, and they're really important to us, and especially the accountability piece. I think Brent is really big on that, and that really helps with personal growth and team growth in the gym.
And you mentioned earlier that it is a long season. You have WCC opening up this week. What are your guys' goals as you enter league play?
I think our goals are just to keep getting better, and we all have skills we need to get better on and things that we are personally working on and working on as a team. And Brent doesn't really talk much about winning in the gym. It's more about just getting better as a player and as a teammate, and so I think those are more our goals.
You've mentioned head coach Brent Crouch a couple of times. He's a pretty analytical guy. How does that fit into the team's philosophy?
For me, I'm also really analytical as a person, so him and we can butt heads about that sometimes, but I really enjoy it because I like the growth atmosphere and how that is such an emphasis, and it's not just playing volleyball to play. There's a reason why we're doing this, and you're going to do it a certain way, and you'll get better if you do it that way, and I've really enjoyed that, and it's been really helpful for me as a player.
As a team and the coaching staff, you guys obviously spend a lot of time together. You have to have some funny stories about the coaches, especially about maybe Jeff Baxter.
I think Jeff, just as a human being, is funny personally, but I think probably this isn't necessarily a story, but every single time Brent explains a drill from the whiteboard, Jeff will run around the gym doing these it's almost like a victory lap around the gym every time without fail. And for me personally, I find it really funny every time he does it.
Best memories from your time at UP so far?
By far beating BYU at home.
Absolutely. You obviously seem to stay pretty busy at UP. Part of that has been a part of SAC. Talk about what SAC is and what is your role in the organization.
So SAC is essentially like a student council, but for student athletes. And we basically are just involved in like the management of student athletics from the student athlete perspective. So we work on like making sure hours are documented in practice and like service in the community and trying to get fans involved and basically just getting the community involved in student athletics at UP.
In your role, I think I heard that you're instrumental right now in trying to get student athletes to other student athletes games and contests.
Yeah, so I interned for Scott this summer, and one of my big projects was creating what we're gonna call Pilots Cup, and it's basically just something to get people more involved, specifically student athletes more involved, and it's like a house cup kind of thing, kind of Harry Potter style, where you get points for different actions and different things, and they add up, and then at the end of the year, one team wins, and you get a prize for it to reward basically attending games and being involved in the community and such.
Community service, obviously important for you. You're heavily involved with something called Night Strike. Tell us what that entails and how you got involved.
So Night Strike is a local Portland organization, and basically under the Burnside Bridge every Thursday of the year, they go and they set up this function for the homeless population, and they have mobile doctors, and they do clothing repair, haircuts, they serve dinner, they have veteran services and all this stuff to help our homeless population. And they have something called walkabouts, which we as a volleyball team are really involved in, which is basically you walk around downtown Portland on Thursday with hot coffee and sandwiches, and you go and just kind of talk about your faith and personal experiences with people living on the streets and try and hear their story and what their perspective of God is in their life, which is really awesome.
That sounds pretty awesome. Lastly, before you go, do you have any post-graduation plans? I know it's still a year away, but...
Yeah. Right now, I'd like to go to law school. We'll see after another year of school if I'm still on that train. I mean, I'd like to go play overseas and try the professional thing first, but I think as far as school and continuing careers, I think I'd like to go to law school or maybe coach, but we'll see.
I like it. Reagan, thank you very much for joining us tonight, and good luck the rest of the season.
Thank you.
Coming up next, we travel to Arlington, Texas, and catch up with former Pilot pitcher Austin Bibbins-Dirks, who broke into the majors earlier this year with the Texas Rangers. Portside with the Pilots continues after the break. The Portland baseball program will be hosting an alumni family and friends weekend on the Bluff September 30th through October 1st. Activities will include an alumni game, a post-game barbecue, and a golf tournament at Heron Lakes. Visit portlandpilots.com/baseball for more information. What a journey it's been for former Pilot pitcher Austin Bibbins-Dirks. After a standout 2006 season on the hill for the Pilots, Bibbins-Dirks was drafted by the Seattle Mariners and began a professional career that would take him more than 11 years throughout the minor leagues and independent ball before finally breaking through to the majors.
I started practicing my signature when I was 7 years old because I had an idea of what I wanted to do, and I had to work pretty hard to get to where I'm at, but ultimately that's what I had in my head since a young age, and was willing to do everything possible to get here.
People could tell at that age that there was something there. Even at 10, 11, 12-year-old baseball, you could kind of tell the natural ability that he had.
He actually came out of his shell. His freshman year, he went out for drama. It wasn't just baseball, it wasn't just sports. He really loved music and drama as well as a kid.
I actually almost went into the Navy. If I hadn't gotten a scholarship offer from Chemeketa, I said that was the only thing that was going to keep me from going. So Portland came knocking. Gary Van Tol, he actually lives in Boise where I live now, and I liked everything Portland had to offer, and it was a good fit. I really enjoyed the group of guys that we had there.
Talking to some scouts after Austin got done with baseball at Chemeketa, a couple people told him that go Division I. You're good enough to get drafted, but Division I will increase your value tremendously. And that was a great option, right in their backyard, University of Portland.
My first full year, I was told, hey, you'll be in the big leagues by the end of the year with the Mariners, and a couple of things happened. They tried to change my arm angle a little bit. I ended up getting hurt, having surgery, and things went from way up here to way down here really quickly, and it was kind of an eye-opener for me. And at that point, I was like, maybe this might not be the right path.
We did have to have the talk. What are you going to do if baseball doesn't pan out? And even then, he said, I'm playing baseball. I'm going to be in baseball. That's just the way it is. And in his mind, there was never a doubt.
Last year, I start the year in indie ball at 30, 31, turning 31. And obviously that's a very bleak picture. If you think about going into indie ball at 31 years old with 0 big league time, I didn't want to stop. I said as long as somebody was offering me a jersey, I was going to take it, and it meant I had an opportunity, and that's what I did. And luckily another guy I knew threw my name to the Rangers, and they gave me a chance.
He's wanted this for so long, and his determination paid off.
It was 7:30 in the morning. I was still sleeping, and my manager called, and heart beats a little bit faster. He called and said, this is your big league call-up. It's something that he's wanted to do basically since, I'd gotten to the Rangers and got to know him last year. And it's like, this is something I'd wanted to do for a long time for you. And, this is your big league call-up. And you're going to meet the team in Seattle.
The phone rings at 6:30, and Austin says, I just got called up. And I'm like this, bam, sit up right in bed. And I look at Jeff. Jeff goes, what?
We all just jumped in a car and did the I-5 shuffle up to Seattle, and it just couldn't have been a more perfect situation for his call-up day.
Austin Bibbins Dirks, his big league debut, 32 years old, well-traveled, independent league ball, just did not take the uniform off.
This is a guy that he's a rookie at the age that he is, and kind of the journey that he's been on to get to this point. He's done a great job for us, stepping in a couple different roles. A certain trust in a guy that has been around and pitched his way to this point.
Caught by Napoli, and the ball game's over.
I just remember coming out of the gates, and the whole bullpen, everybody was screaming, yelling for me, clapping, cheering. I just remember having a huge smile on my face the whole trip in. It wasn't like I need to be a Bulldog, serious, but it was more of a this is awesome type of feeling.
Throughout his entire 12 years of minor leagues, God's had his hand in every phase. I mean, and this year especially. There's a reason that it took 12 years, and there's a reason that it was with this organization, and there's a reason. I truly believe that.
Pitching at Fenway, getting a win, going 7 innings at Yankee Stadium was awesome.
0-2, struck him out swinging.
Beating a 2-time Cy Young, probably going to be a 3-time Cy Young award winner, Max Scherzer. Just the whole experience, I've tried to enjoy it. To be successful, you can't put too much pressure on yourself, and I've tried not to.
He's had a wonderful career up to this point, and I just hope for great days ahead for him. We'll be along for the ride too.
If you have a passion for something and you really enjoy doing it, go after it. And I get to play in this park right here for a living, and last year I was in independent ball, so just don't give up. If you really truly enjoy it, love something, go after it and you can achieve it.
Portland's distance program has produced multiple All-Americans, Olympic trial participants, and running professionals. Tate Pullman is the latest pilot runner to sign professionally. Entering his junior year at UP this fall, Pullman signed a 4-year trail and mountain running contract with Nike over the summer, and he credits his training regimen at Portland as a key part of his success.
I'm super excited getting this opportunity to run with Nike. I mean, it's just been my dream to run in the mountains for as long as I can. Having Coach Connor's support throughout this whole thing has really been the best part of it all. He works with every runner to develop their own strengths. So for me, that's always been the hills. He just knew that mountain running was where I wanted to go after college. So when this opportunity with Nike came up, he really supported it all the way and just allowed me to pursue my dreams.
The Pilot volleyball team opens West Coast Conference play this week at home. Portland welcomes Pacific to the Chow Center on Thursday night and St. Mary's on Saturday afternoon. The team is off to a 9-3 start, and reigning WCC Coach of the Year Brent Crouch and the Pilots were picked to finish third in the league's preseason poll. Currently, the Pilots trail only number 9 ranked BYU in the conference standings at the conclusion of non-league play. San Diego, picked second in the preseason poll, checks in this week at number 17 in the national top 25. Be sure to circle your calendar for November 9th and November 11th when San Diego and BYU visit the Chow Center for back-to-back matches. The match versus San Diego will be televised live right here on CSN. The Pilot women's soccer team will look for consecutive wins against Northwest rivals as the team travels up I-5 to take on the Seattle University Redhawks on Friday at 7 p.m. Seattle is 4-4 this season and coming off a 4-0 win at Portland State on Sunday. And be sure to send us any questions, requests for content, or just give us some feedback on the show on social media by using the hashtag Portside. And that will do it for this episode of Portside of the Pilots. We will see you next week.